everybody. This is Ren Racing. I'm Steve Ren. It's my little brother Shane Ren. We just decided to go ahead and try to do a little vlog. We never did one before. But this is kind of like our beginning to our little series here. We're going to try to shoot and see how it turns out. We're not big famous guys, or we don't have the best equipment, or
just starting.
Yeah, or we're not top dogs. So this is kind of like we're going to do a series on guys who are just going out to have a good time. I mean, obviously the goal in mind is to win. That's with any sport, and that's what we always do in anything. But we also know the reality of it, and we have some older equipment, so we got some good parts on our stuff, but we just having problems because of the older stuff, and that's what's causing us issues, and that's what's happening. This will be going into our 2024 will be our third year getting into it. Shane's our main rider. I'm the mechanic, and I kind of
ride occasionally.
Yeah, once in a while when we have a track that we might like, or if we got everything up to par and all of our equipment's good, then I'll jump on and ride every now and then. But we have some older equipment, but we try to make do with what we have. And so far, for what we have, Shane has been able to do really well for what we have. So his goals going into this next season are just going to be, first of all, we gotta finish races. I mean, that's our first and foremost is what we got to do. And then what other goals did you have in mind for this season?
No, well, top 5 at least. I'd say 3 times, top 5.
Throughout the year?
Yeah. And then definitely want to go for a first place would be nice. That's going to be really emotional, but for
that's
3 years of
right, and that's
the
ultimate goal. But we also have realistic goals here because we are a smaller team and we don't have the budget to take these quads to the front, unfortunately. But we try. That's the goal. But what are some other goals that you have besides finishing the top 5? So we want. His first goal is we want to try to get in the top 5 at least 3 times this year.
Yeah.
We want to try to at least run multiple different series. We're not really set on a certain series. Our first year we ran Noya very consistently. We tried to be there every week, and we both ran at that point. But we had issues just like every other year. But we still tried, and we tried to make all the races we could. Last year it was more of a hit or miss deal because we couldn't be there for the original start of the points.
Well, and test running.
Test running.
Different series.
Yeah, and then the NEXC, we were mainly running the Noya series up here in upstate New York, which is New York Off-Road Association. It's a state-ranked series. But also the other series that just came out last year was the NEXC, which is the Northeast Cross Country Series, I believe. And it was a new series, and it hit a lot of our tracks. They're relatively close.
Yeah.
But our main thing is one thing that we both enjoy. We enjoy the woods, but we like the mixture of an actual motocross track
and woods.
With the woods. So we like getting a little bit of both, and the NEXC really incorporated that in almost every track that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a good job. They did a phenomenal job of every race trying to get us a track that was raceable.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather obviously plays part in it. And they struggled a little bit last year, but that's because up here in upstate New York, the Noya series is the premier series. I mean, that's what everybody runs. That's where all our top dogs run. Next to the GNCCs, which is Grand National Cross Country, that's basically our pro series is the Noya.
Yeah.
So we made an attempt at it. Like I said, the first year, I ended up finishing. We both ran in the
10th and 11th.
Right. But we ran in the first year class because we never ran any type of quads before. I finished 10th in the series overall, and Shane finished 11th.
Yep.
We hit some tracks, but we also had some other issues with different things going on as far as the quad or ourselves.
Mechanicals.
And then we have when we hit trees and we flip and do stuff like that.
Part of the game.
It's part of it. It's part of woods racing, unfortunately. But
trees and roots and rocks
and other quads and but to give you guys a little backstory on us, I'm 38 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Shane is
be 36
next year.
Sure.
Most of my life, I've always been involved on the race car side of things. I started racing go-karts when I was 13 or 14 years old. Shane never really got into it. I mean, he liked it. He liked being around it, but
Never done anything racing.
never done anything racing related at all.
No.
And then as I got older, I ran big full-size cars for, I don't know, 5-6 years. Ran Northeast Dirt Modified, street stocks. I mean, pretty much all the classes up here you can run. But I ran big cars up here for a long time. It actually started, all this started with our father, who started back in 1967, racing cars here at Chemung, New York, at a local track to us. He also ran motocross for a long time. But myself and my other brother, we decided to go the car route for a long time, and then I got my son into it. My son started out in go-karts, worked his way up to eventually a micro sprint, and then just kind of we had a crash that was a pretty good one, and then we kind of never really got back into it. So for I don't know, probably 2-3 years we didn't do anything, any type of racing,
there, yeah.
at all. And then I went ahead and got myself a 1995 Yamaha Warrior that we were just gonna get and go mess around in the woods with, and Shane didn't have anything at the time.
No.
And then we got that, and I believe it was July or August.
I think the next year you got the 450 too.
Yeah, but
Following year.
before that, I got the Warrior, and we were just gonna, like I said, we were just gonna use it to park around the woods and do what we just go have some fun. And then I ended up stumbling across a couple YouTubers. One of them was Drew Campbell of Drew Campbell Racing and John Sosa of On One Wheel. And I was watching their videos and seeing that I always knew about racing through the woods and stuff like that, just never had a huge interest in it. But I was like, you know what, this looks kind of fun. So I decided I was going to throw my hat in the ring and give it a try, and I got talking to Shane, and Shane was like, you know what, I've never done anything. Might as well just give it a shot. So after that, I actually ended up getting another Warrior, and we were both going to run on both Warriors, and then I happened to come across a 450 that a friend was selling, YFC 450 in 07. I ended up picking that up. So I ran that. Shane decided to run the newer Warrior. We ended up getting an 04 Warrior. And that was our first year pretty much. And then we kind of swapped back and forth on quads. Just kind of test different things out, see how you like the 450. And then eventually about midway, I would say, through the first season, you ended up picking up your
my YFC.
Your 450.
October last
Was
year.
it? No,
Yeah.
I think it was earlier than that.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, he ended up getting himself an 06 YFC 450
Mm-hmm.
that needs some work, but he got it at a pretty good price. But we got to working on it and tinkering on it. We finally got that thing to run and go. And unfortunately, we found some other things that we didn't know were wrong that came up during races. And it ended up ending a lot of his races, not anything to do with his faults, just the quad had sat for a while, and things that we had possibly overlooked.
Electrical.
Well, no,
Engine,
we had the overheating issue and the radiator and the carburetor. And
It's one thing after another.
anyways, it was just a lot of different things
One
that
thing
we didn't know were bad at the time. And it wasn't any fault of anybody that sold it to us. It was just the quad had sat, and we didn't do a good enough job of going over the entire quad. So we went back to running my 450 and the Warrior, and we were running back and forth, switching between those quads, and then we ended up just putting Shane on the 450 for the last few races. It ended up running really well. So then after that, through that winter, Shane decided he was just going to go ahead and just literally go top to bottom through his quad. And he took it literally right back down the frame, painted it, bought all new parts, rear end parts, I mean, swing arms, shocks, spring. I mean, he literally went through pretty much everything. The only thing he didn't get new
Was bottom end?
was the bottom end of the actual motor.
Yeah. That's still original.
But, well, in the piston.
Uh-huh.
We didn't get a new piston. But
Yeah.
we went through that quad. He went through it himself and just did it all winter, and did a really good job. The quad came out nice. It's got real nice parts on it. But then we ended up chasing a lot of electrical gremlins. I mean, we even went through as far as changing different harnesses, and it was kind of a crapshoot, would say, at the beginning of this year. So we just decided, until we could really get that thing to where it needed to be, we were gonna go ahead and just run our 04 Warrior. Because for one, it's the most dependable machine we have. We never usually had a lot of issues with it.
It's a freaking tank, son.
We never had a lot of issues with it until, of course, near the end of the season. We ended up having things that just went wrong that we didn't foresee going wrong. Something as stupid as the bolts came out of the stator and stripped the side of the case out and messed the stator up, and it's just stupid stuff, and having dead batteries, and it was just one thing after another. But Shane also ran pretty much the full rest of the season on the Warrior, and he actually ran three different series. He ran a couple races in the Noya series. I think it was 4 races. Four races in the NEXC, and then we also have a fall series around here called the Western New York Off-Road Association, which is almost very similar to the the NEXC series, where it's got motocross and woods. But it's a 4-race series, and it's back to back 4 weeks in a row, which is nice.
Hell yeah.
But we ended up running that, and he ended up finishing, I think he finished 17th.
No, 13th.
No, 13th out of 22.
22, yeah.
In the for the overall points for the novice class in the Western New York series. The Noya series, we actually didn't run 4 points, but I still think you ended up
21st out of 24.
21st out of 24 or something like that.
Which isn't bad for 2 races, really.
I think it was 2 or 3 races, wasn't many. And then the NEXC series, he actually finished 7th in points, which doesn't sound amazing to the average person, but for us, coming out of this little garage with all the issues we had, and the older quads, I mean, was huge. And it was, so far we've had little step ups and little goals every year, and Shane has just stepped himself up, stepped his riding up each year, and he's gotten better and better and better. And we're pretty excited for this 2024 season, because we're going to have his 450 hopefully totally fixed. We're going to be taking that
Lanes, baby,
to Lanes Yamaha in Watkins Glen, New York. They are a Yamaha dealer, certified dealer, and they have great mechanics up there and knowledgeable people to get this thing figured out. So we're going to head up there. We're probably going to do maybe a couple videos on that, of going up, taking it up, dropping it off, getting some info. But as far as going forward from here, it's been difficult to be, at least for me, to be a mechanic, a filmer, put all these videos together. Plus, we both have full-time jobs. We just do this as fun. But we decided, that we see a lot of different vloggers or YouTubers out there, and 90% of them, I would say, give you an advantage or a view of up front runners, and which is great, which is cool, which is what you like to see. Well, first of all, we're brothers, and we're in this little team together. We don't see many of that, and if you do, they're not really on YouTube. So we thought we'd like to give our perspective. I get more enjoyment out of watching him race and him do well than I actually do racing myself. I like it. It's fun to race, but it's just, I'm fat and old. It's not my thing. But watching him race is what gives me joy in seeing that. So I think I'm gonna take this year and probably definitely step back, maybe hit a couple races. But we're gonna try to really push for Shane to get a full season here. At what series, we're still kind of undecided on what we're gonna do there.
Try to hit as much as we can, really.
We're gonna, but we really don't know what series yet. We haven't talked about.
Yeah.
If we're even gonna commit to a full series, we might not. We might do like we did last year and just kind of hit Illinois racer, hit an EXC racer, or vice versa. One of our goals for this year is to really try to make at least one GNCC, just to compete, get the experience, see what it's like to race an event like that. Because we've raced at all these events around here, and they're really cool. And quad racing is a lot of fun. It's very family oriented. It's a good time. But the GNCCs are next level. I mean, you get thousands of riders in those things. So that's probably going to be one of our goals.
Yeah.
I mean, the other goal is obviously we got to finish races. I mean, we got to put them together, whether it's quad or rider or mechanical or what. We really got to start stepping up our game. We got to start. It starts here in the shop. I mean, because things aren't ready to go out the door. There's no point in even putting it on the trailer because it's just we've done that and it's
not worth it.
It's fun, but it's not worth it. I mean, he's right, and it gets
You're
very
wasting gas, money.
racing time, and it just gets very frustrating. Especially when you have a shot at some of these tracks, because some of these tracks he really excels at, and we've had times where we got to the track, we started the quad, left the shop, got to the track, tried to fire it up, and nothing. Just something stupid happened. So, I mean, that's beyond frustrating, especially when we're busting our butts here in the shop all week. But those are a few of our goals we want to attempt this year. What we're going to try to do here with this, I don't know if it's going to be a series of vlog or
just
little shorts. Or we're going to see where it goes. I mean, I don't even know. We don't know if there's going to be any interest in this. We know some people, and we've had a pretty good fan base. We have a Facebook page underneath Ren Racing. We have an Instagram page underneath Ren Racing. We actually just recently got TikTok and started putting on a couple videos. Mm-hmm. Well, we got one, I think. And we have a YouTube page underneath Ren Racing. And that has all of our in-race footage, our vlog type content. And we just posted our first short, I guess is what you call them. We're going to try to hit that more often, but with it getting colder, and we have our little man cave here is pretty much all we got. We don't have a full garage, and we got just this little space, but this is where, they always say it doesn't matter the size of the shop, it matters the size of the rider's heart or something like that. I don't remember, but we got a little shop, and we're just located here in Waverly, New York. Just a little town right on the border of Pennsylvania and New York. And we're trying to go out and compete with a lot of these guys, and that's going to be our goal for this year. Is first of all, again, finish races. Second of all, try to compete, and push up the ladder. Try to get spots. I mean, that's going to be our thing. I have all the confidence in the world in Shane that he can get it done. It just, again, it starts here in the shop. So if we can start getting it to where when these machines leave the shop, we're ready. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, unless something astronomical happens to where something happens or something stupid happens, or we're just rushing, we make a mistake, and we've had that too. But that's how the series is probably going to go. We're going to try to post some shorts. With it getting cold, we don't really have heat out here, so most of our stuff's going to be later on, probably in March, April time frame. Once Shane gets done with because he took his plastics off to repaint and redo them, pretty much the rest of his 450's ready to roll because it's got all brand new stuff on it from last year. We're gonna redo and go over the Warrior, the 04. We're gonna go back through that. It's gonna get a new top end, new graphics. It's gonna get new tires, rims, shocks. So hopefully next year that thing's gonna be better than it's ever been, and these Warriors 9 times out of 10 are bulletproof. So then we'll also have my 450, which we had an incident with last year that broke the side of the case.
But everything pretty much is good on that, really, besides engine parts.
Right, most of that's pretty good, but we got to rebuild that engine. So that's probably going to be later on down the road. We got to get our 2 quads running because we have to have his run first of all, obviously, so he can run. But we're also going to be taking the Warrior as his backup 90% of the time. In case something happens, because that's one lesson that we learned last year. not taking 2 quads that really kind of kicked us in the nuts was just taking 1 quad. Because if you can take 2, you're allowed to take a second one as long as you go back on the track where you broke down or where you were towed from. With most of all the series that we run, which is cool because it still gives you a chance. You know, you pay all that money and get there and get halfway through the first lap and just something stupid happens. You hit a tree or break a tie rod, or you know, you got an opportunity to still go out and at least make a lap and get points. We've done the whole points thing. Not real sure. I mean, it depends on, I guess, how Shane's feeling, whether we're going to attempt another shot at points. I'm not really feeling that, but he's also the rider, and we'll do what he wants to do. You know, he's putting up the money, and he's taking his quad. So, I guess it's whatever he comes down to that he decides he wants to do.
Yeah.
We're still up in the air on that.
I definitely want to compete. That's for sure.
Right. We definitely want to compete, but
see how see where I can get. See where I'm gaining spots.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it'll just be one of those situations where it's. We'll see what happens as it goes. Because I guess you're right. I guess he's running well. If he's running well in that series, I guess we'll continue to hit that. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, he might still want to bounce around. Even though he's running well. So, like I said, this is just a little introduction to our team. We'll give you a little spin around here at the shop and show you how the size we're working with here. But like I said, this is just our first one. So we just took a shot and decided to sit down. We said, screw it. We're going to go ahead and throw up a little vlog or blog or whatever they want.
Yeah.
And just kind of give everybody a little bit of an introduction to us. Like I said, we're just two brothers, little family team who just like racing, you know, just being around it and trying to compete as best as we can.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to have some more shorts coming out here, maybe a couple like quad washing videos and Shane taking his up to get done.
There's lanes, yep.
And then I guess we'll figure out a little bit later, I guess, or down the road, whether we're going to possibly hit another vlog this winter. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on where we're at. Or maybe Shane could possibly, we'll see what's going to go on.
Get some new gear.
Yeah, he's got new gear coming in.
Do a reveal on the gear.
Yeah, we can do a reveal
Yep.
of his gear and the stuff he's going to be wearing for 2024. Like I said, our main focus, he's going to be on the YFC. I mean, that's going to be our best shot to get him to the front. We're going to be running in the Vet C class, 30 plus. That's what we ran all this year and last year.
Yeah. Unless I'm feeling ballsy and go to Vet B.
Well, we're gonna stick in Vet C for a while until we can get our feet underneath us and see where we're at time wise. Because once we start putting some laps down, then we'll see where we're at. Because there's no sense jumping up with them boys if you can't even put down a lap time for the last place guy. So, but we're also gonna, like I said, we're gonna bounce around maybe some different series, maybe just stick to one. But we're definitely gonna hit the fall series. And that he is going to run novice and maybe even bump up another class because his times were pretty good from the novice series.
Besides the mechanicals that we have, but
the times that you were running,
the times,
we were pretty good.
First
so, anyways, that's way longer down the road. This is just like I said, our first shot at it, and we'll see where to go from here. And we're going to try to shoot more vlogs and give everybody some more videos and. We'll see where it goes from there.
We're going to rock it next year.
Well, we'll see. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate it.